My name is Boomer, and this is my 1976 Chevy K5 Blazer, at least what's left of it. I'm kind of starting this channel as kind of a build channel, something to follow along with the process of building this rig and some of the other adventures I plan on going on, and just whatever else mechanical type stuff and fun stuff that I find would be interesting, that I find interesting, that you might find interesting as well. I love kind of seeing the progress of things, and what better progress to see than something in this shape. Kind of a backstory on this thing. I ended up getting this thing through a trade. I had a 1979 Ford Fairmont that I had built, and it had a 6-liter 4L80, and I know Chevy engine in a Ford body, people get all butthurt about it, but hey, it had Mustang parts where it needed it, all Mustang GT parts, and it was a fun car. I had a lot of fun time building the car, and it was a great car, a lot of looker, a lot of people looking at the car, and so I ended up putting up for sale. Guy wanted to trade me for this Blazer, and I'm a Chevy guy through and through. I love my Chevys. I've had Chevys since my first vehicle. Chevys and Jeeps been my thing, and I've had a K5 before. Wasn't a nice one. My dad had a K5, and I just love these things. So when I had the opportunity to get a K5, I jumped on it, and I think I traded up in some ways. In some ways I might have traded down, but I thoroughly enjoyed this vehicle. And not that long ago, around Christmas time, I took one of my daughters Christmas shopping, and on our way back, someone pulled out in front of us and across a couple lanes of traffic and hit my front fender, and that is why now it's missing a lot of parts. So I decided to rebuild it, and after a roundabout with insurance, they ended up giving me quite a bit more than I was hoping for to rebuild this thing, and so now that's kind of what's funding the start of this channel, as well as the start of the build for this Blazer. Just to kind of give you a quick rundown of it, it's got a 14-bolt rear, it's got a Dana 44 front, 8 lug axles, it's got a body lift, which is coming off very soon. And I've got a whole slew of parts that I'm going to be following along and kind of doing, like I said, a little build series. Going to be rewiring this thing. I got new steering, new suspension, doing new body mounts and things like that, and kind of cutting off some of the old janky stuff that was done throughout the years on an almost 50-year-old vehicle, and bringing it up to date and fixing it, and just, like I said, taking it out for adventures. And this will be my daily driver / wheeler rig. And it's just something I've always done that way, and maybe I'm not the smartest guy for doing that, but hey, that's what I like to do. It's definitely not perfect, but it's really not in all that bad of shape. It's got some rust here and there, but overall the body and everything's in pretty good shape. There has been some things that were not so great on it that I've already cut off and started to redo. It does have a 5.3 4L60 swap with an NP208 transfer case, passenger drop, and thus keeping the axle there. And when I got hit, I actually ended up bending the steering out, and it's kind of a wishbone shape now, a U shape, I guess, and that's planning on being fixed. I do have a new steering shaft I decided to replace while I had everything apart. And it's a XJ steering shaft, which I'm very familiar with. I've built several Jeeps, or a few Jeeps at least. But the shaft at the bottom down here is smaller on the Jeep than it is on the 76 gearbox, or I think it's up to somewhere around 80. So I got a new part coming for that, and I'll modify it to make it work. I did put in a cable shift for the column to shift the transmission. It was just old sloppy, worn out bushings and things of that. So that's all updated with the new cable shift. I might have to modify it a little bit when I go to put the fender on, but I'll tackle that when I get there. Didn't have carpet. It does have a dash and stuff. I pulled it all out. So there's that. I am going to replace the seats. I got new carpet coming. I've got to repair some stuff here and there, patch some holes, just like in the floor down here and whatnot. But overall, it's pretty solid. Floor's been patched. It's pretty good. I do have a couple leaky seals and things like that, but the door panels need some help and whatnot. But it is a factory AC truck. I do plan on eventually putting the AC back in. I've got the wires still exposed for the AC pump on the wiring side. overall it's decent. It runs great, shifts good and stuff like that, so no issues there. Said factory AC truck. Would like to get it back someday, but it's not a top priority. I got a whole new wiring kit from Painless coming, and gonna fix up some other things here and there and get this thing back to its former glory and hopefully wheel it. That's my plan, is to wheel the thing and have it be a fun rig that I can take pretty much anywhere, drive it anywhere. My plan is 40s, but we'll see about that. I had a Jeep one time, I put 37s on it and regretted it immediately. Wish I did 40s. And so that's what my plan is with this someday is 40s. But it's pretty clean. It's not perfect, but it's mine. One of my goals with this truck is, or one of my goals I guess in general, it's always been something I want to do, is to get on Ultimate Adventure. It's now been renamed this past year to Unreal Adventure, but I've always wanted something cool enough and to make it on that adventure, that wheeling trip. I've had different ideas in the past, building a Commander with 1 tons and actually a 6-liter, which was the 6-liter that I had in my Fairmont. I started building that and I scrapped that project, but I've always wanted to do something like that, something cool, something different. K5s aren't necessarily unicorns, but they are getting pretty rare to see wheeling, but I do plan on doing some wheeling trips. There's one I really want to go on. It's happening Blazer Bash in September. We'll see if I can get everything around and make it for that trip, but that is something that I would really love to do. Get together with a bunch of other guys and wheel some square bodies. And but like I said, Ultimate Adventure or Unreal Adventure now is something I've always wanted to do. And when I get this built up a little bit, my plan is to submit it and try to get on that trip eventually. So other than that, hope you guys find some of this entertaining, and we'll go along our way and we'll update some things as we go.